Mikayla Kempf, and like every other college student, I've received plenty of feedback regarding the papers I've written, projects I've done, tests I've taken, and these comments have helped shape my writing, study skills, and critical thinking abilities. But it was the criticism I received as a swimmer that has had the biggest impact on shaping my character, attitude, confidence, and has taught me so much about who I am. In college swimming, you really only have two opportunities to swim at your best: mid-season and conference. I was recruited to sprint, so leading up to my first mid-season meet, that's all I ever trained and all I ever swam at dual meets. Mid-season began and I was ready to race and excited to hopefully drop time. But as the meet progressed, it seemed that my sprints weren't doing so great, and the only event I dropped time in was the 500, which is more of a distance event. My assistant coach pulled me aside and told me that maybe I wasn't cut out to be a sprinter after all. My shorter sprints just weren't up to speed with the faster girls, and he went on to criticize my stroke by saying my tempo was too slow. I felt my cheeks flush as a rush of hurt, anger, and embarrassment surged inside of me. I felt like all my training gone to waste, and I failed my coach, my teammates, and myself. My coach cut my thoughts off and offered an alternative, something I never thought he'd say. He told me I'd be racing the mile instead of the 100 free the next day. Mind you, I never swam the mile before and never even trained for it, so this was totally out of my comfort zone. I agreed because I felt like I had no other option and I was too defeated to argue. I withdrew as I felt tears swelling up inside my throat, so I rushed to the cool down pool, put on my goggles, and cried so no one could see. After a few laps of letting myself cool down, my perspective began to change. While his words crushed me, maybe he wasn't being completely irrational. Most of the team was comprised of sprinters, and there were only two distance girls, so that's where we really needed more people. Maybe my coach saw potential in me, something I couldn't even see in myself. I suddenly saw this as a chance, and I began to feel honored to have been asked to do the mile on such short notice. I kept telling myself that I'm strong, fast, and ready over and over until my confidence began to rise, and I started to believe the words I was saying. Truthfully, I don't remember much of the race besides thinking it was horribly long, I was so bored, and my arms were very tired. But I do vividly remember my coach's reaction. He was ecstatic for what I had just done, and in that moment, I felt accomplished and as if I had merged a new person. Ever since, I've been a distance swimmer, and I've gotten pretty good at it. This has given me self confidence in and out of the water through being more open to taking risks and less afraid to try something and fail. I took on harder research projects, explored topics interesting to me rather than choosing the easy way. I remain a strong scholar athlete, and I believe I would score points and be a valuable asset to SIUE's rich professional reputation.